what you inherit inside of your heart through bhakti, that will carries on. And that bhakti should grow. In Mirabai life, you know the story of Mirabai. How Mira was, She got married. She come to Mertha. So, from Iran to Mertha, she came. She was with her in-law. And as you know very well, her in-law was great devotee of Ma Bhagavati. For them, whatever they will do, they will worship Devi. And of course, Meera was a great devotee of Bhagwan Krishna. She didn't want to bow down to anybody. Because Meera have only one Lord, It is Giridhar Gopal, nobody else. All the aspects of Devi, all the form for her, she knows that all these are just in service to the lotus feet of Sri Hari. But if Sri Hari himself have revealed that you belong to me, you can't belong to anybody else. The object of her worship, even if she was in a family which was Devi Bhakta, she said, and remind people that look, even the worship of Devi is to attain the lotus feet of Giridhar Gopal, nothing else. So Meera, when she was very, she married and went there to the family. They were always pushing her, fighting with her, Why you don't come and worship with us also? I said, well, look, you can worship your deity as you want, but my worship is my Giridhar Gopal. There is nobody else than my Giridhar Gopal. Everything else is only him. I'm not telling you you have to let go of Devi and worship Giridhariji. You worship whatever you want. Let me worship. So they let her worship. So one day, the sister-in-law of Mirabai approached her and said to her very strongly with determination, listen, tomorrow morning you have to come with us. So she said, okay, well, what time? 5 o'clock in the morning, we have to go and do the worship of Ma Bhagavati in our family temple. I said, okay, fine, I'll try. But then she started thinking, but 5 o'clock I have to wake Thakurji. Giridhariji is sleeping, I have to wake him up. I can't. But now she have already given her word to the sister-in-law. And that sister-in-law was not a good person. So, whole night she spent thinking, what should I do? Shall I go or not? If I go, who will do service? If I go, it will take whole day, because if I go there, they will do the prayer, they will sing and dance. Whole half day will be gone, wasting. So how will I did my prayer to Giridhariji? That was Meera's concern. So Mirabai was thinking, Thakurji, what shall I do? So in that whole night have passed. Morning arrived, 7 o'clock. The people came quickly to Mirabai. They said, look, we have to go. They said, listen, I can't come. I have Giridhariji to wake up. And whole night he did the ras. And he is tired. I have to look after him. I have to feed him. I have to bath him. I have to dress him, all this. And they were saying, look, you should come. Because if you don't come, it will be terrible for you. That whatever happened will be Giridhari's will. Whatever he will, that will happen. So Mirabai was in such a bhav, such devotion, such surrender to the lotus feet of Giridhariji. But she was not scared of anything. Bhakti gives you that strength to go against everything, Even if everybody is against you, Bhakti give you that strength, that Shakti. Whether it's Bhakti, Ma Bhagavati is present in the form of Shakti. He is not far away. So such was in the life of Mirabai. Wherever she was, she had many attacks, many against her. Starting with her own family, her in-law was against her. But inside of her, there was a different bhav inside of her. Bhakti bhav was inside of her. Nothing could move her. Nothing could shake her. Nothing could make her have a single doubt. That was the intensity of her devotion to the lotus feet of Giridhariji. So they did their prayer. They came back and they start bombarding Mirabai, accusing her, said, look, because you didn't come for the prayer, now calamities will be in our family. Because of you, we will all suffer. When you have some dirt, you want to give it to everybody else. You can't keep your own rubbish for yourself. When you have rubbish, you like to distribute. When you have good things, you like to hide it. Where's your treasure? You locked it in the safe. You don't like to show people. But rubbish? Wow! Amazing. We see that in the world itself, Go on any social media things. Do anybody talk good about anybody? If you talk good about everybody, you get maybe 100 likes. I don't know, something like that. You say likes? No? Yeah. Oh, you get maybe, if you're lucky, 1,000 likes. But more rubbish is your video, more likes you are. You can see that mentality of human being. How rubbish attract rubbish. Negativity attract negativity. So, Mirabai was not bothered about that. But everybody else was bothered about. Mira was happy inside of herself. She was in that bliss, she was in that joy. You see, when Mirabai was at her parent place, many sadhu will come. On the way to the pilgrimage, they will stop by in Merta, no? No, Merta is where her in-law is. Yes, Mevan. Mervan? Merta. Mevan, yes. Mevar is where she was born. Both is in Rajasthan, no? One is in Udaipur. Well, but it doesn't matter. So, when she was at her father's place, the sadhu will come just to come and have her darshan. Just to have a glimpse of her, their life, they will feel with happiness and joy they will go. So when she got married and went to Mertha, I think, at her in-laws, there also the saints start coming. So not one, two, but hundreds of them used to come. And they all wanted to meet, we want to meet Meera. We want to meet Mirabai. You know? So that create a big uproar in the palace. How come these sadhus are all coming to see you? You are a princess, you know, you have your prestige. You can't be with this kind of people. But Mirabai said, but this is my life, my service to Bhagwan, to Giridhariji. You know, they come, we talk about Giridhar Gopal, we sing the glory of Sri Hari, you know, and that is our joy. As being a devotee of Bhagwan, that's what brings joy to us. Bhakti to the lotus feet of Sri Hari. And what is more pleasing when hearing the glory of Bhagwan? Nothing else. All the other things are rubbish of the world, you know, it's only on the outside. It gives you very little satisfaction, little joy, and then it disappeared. And that is the rubbish that everybody else is running about, you know. So Meera her heart was burning with Giridhar Gopal, with the love of Giridhar Gopal, you know. And the sadhus know such bhakta is quite rare, such a devotee. Such gems you don't find very often. Though they will come and have darshan of Mirabai. The in-law was getting upset. Then Raja Mirabai husband, I can't remember names, went to his father and said, Father, look, the sadhus are coming, we can't stop them. But as there's so many, why we don't build a platform where Mirabai can stand there and they can have darshan of Mirabai, Mirabai can converse with them also. So they built a platform. Her husband was very supportive, actually. At the beginning he was not, but later on, because you see, when you live with somebody which is truly and sincerely dedicated, her bhav, her love, her devotion for Giridhariji was so sublime, of course you start to feel there is something there, you know. Maybe you're against it, your mind may be against it, but yet you have to acknowledge that there is something different than normality is there. No? In your life itself, you know, you are sitting here. How many of you at home, your partner, your husband, your family, don't understand you? But yet, they know there is something else in that person. There is a different strength into that person. There is a different Shakti into that person. That is the power of bhakti itself. The power of devotion. They will not change, but they recognize it. So being with Mirabai, of course they will sit there and talk very often. Sooner or later you start to feel you have to open your heart. Every day you sit with a person who have that love inside of their heart. Soon or later, something will have to happen inside of your heart. Something must change. So one time, the husband of Mirabai was sitting with Mirabai. And of course, you see, Mirabai whole night was always singing the glory of Giridhar Gopal. She would sit alone with Giridhariji in the center. And her love, she will pour out her heart to Giridhar Gopal. Not singing always bhajan kirtan, no. She will speak everything. She will sing everything, expressing what is deep inside of her heart. So it was during holy time. That night, Meera was sitting in front of Thakurji, absorbed into that love for her beloved. And all of a sudden said, Giridhar Gopal, Giridhar Gopal, Giridhar Gopal. Her husband was next to her. she was wearing white. No? It was holy time. All of a sudden, her clothes start having patches of pink, red, orange, and different colors. Quickly, man. So different colors will start appearing on her white clothes. So the husband was sitting there. He saw that. At that moment, he realized that Mira is not like everybody else. Is not just a normal person like everybody. Mira is a most precious gems that we have here. So he started to respect her. Seeing that, he started to feel inside of her, but what a blessing I have to be associated with her. In her mind, in his mind at that moment, he have taken a resolution that I will never touch Mira. I will never touch Mirabai, because she from now on is my guru. I will learn from her. In his heart, he didn't open mouth say it. In his heart himself, he accept that I am your disciple from now on. So he recognized that deep inside of him. But Mirabai, that bhakti which resides inside of Mira is not just a bhakti which resides in some random gurus or saints or whatever. No, it is different. So when his family was accusing Mirabai, he stand always for Mirabai. So when the saints came, the sadhu came, he would tell the saint and the sadhu, please go and have darshan of Mira. That's why he built, his father built that platform so that the sadhu and the saint will come and then Mira will be with them. Of course, jealousy and anger is always there. The sister-in-law and the brother was fully against Mirabai. Seeing that the father and brother is there, they even accused Mirabai, said, you have, can I say, you have, no, not brainwash. Brainwash, no, there's more of this. Huh? You have ensorcelé, how do you say? You bewitch. Yes, you have bewitched our brother and father. They will accuse her. So it so happened that Mirabai's husband had to go for war. So he went to war, and at that war, he got hurt. The enemy, he went to war against the Mughal, who was conquering everywhere in India during that time, and bringing their religion with it, forcing conversion on people. But the in-law was a very strong devotee of Ma Bhagavati. They were very strong Hindu. So they went to fight and he was hurt very badly. They stabbed him. And of course, when, as being prince, when he got stabbed, they rushed him quickly to the palace from wherever they were fighting. He was rushed to the palace. And when he came to the palace, everybody started accusing Mirabai. That you see, your husband have not been protected by Ma Bhagavati because you didn't come and do the worship with us like we worship. Ma Bhagavati protect our husband. But look at yours, Because you didn't come and worship Ma Bhagavati, look what have happened. Your husband, they have wounded him. But for Mira, she just kept quiet, silently, putting her eyes down, listening. But inside of her, this didn't mean anything. Whatever people were talking didn't make her budge a single centimeter at all. Not a single doubt ever have arisen inside of her mind. But yes, I have to do something like that so that my, all these things are happening because of my devotion to Giridhariji. No, never. I said, this is the will of Giridhar Gopal. That's it. I am here. I am his servant. I have submit myself completely to him. It is his will. What can I do? So that was the state into which Meera was. So when her wounded husband was there, Mirabai came and looked at him. Seeing Mirabai in front of him, he started crying. He started to cry. Meera asked him, "Why are you crying?" And he said one beautiful thing. He said, "Meera, you know very well that I will not live long. It's only few days now. But what I have felt with you, it had not been even 1 year when they got married. So there was this discussion that you are an amazing, great devotee of Girdhar Gopal. I have seen the other bhav, that is inside of you." So Meera started to feel bad, at that moment. Said, yes. So Meera said to him that you have been my best friend. Then he rebuked Meera and said, "No, I am not your best friend. I am your devotee. I have accepted you from my heart as my guru. I have never voiced it out, I have never said it, but deep inside my heart, I have accepted you as my guru. And as your disciple, as your devotee, I am asking you one thing, to give me only one thing. Please bless me. Bless me. I have seen you day after day. That devotion that you have to Giridhar Gopal, bless me to have a glimpse of that devotion. Bless me that I can have a glimpse of Giridhar Gopal." Mirabai could not say a single word. She could not say yes, no, nothing. She just, in a serene way, calm way, inside of her heart, was absorbed in Girdhar Gopal. So the husband was looking at Mirabai. As he was in that deep state, looking at Mirabai, all of a sudden, what was in front of him? He was looking down. When he looked up, it was not Mirabai who was standing in front of him. It was Giridhariji standing with all his splendor, with all his glory was in front of him. Then he prayed to Giridhar Gopal and asked forgiveness firstly. He asked for forgiveness for how he was treating Meera. He didn't recognize who Meera was, So Bhagwan said to him, "You don't worry. You have not made any mistake. Everything that have happened through my will. I have come in that aspect of grace in the form of Mira itself. You know, when they were talking about the Tadatyam, the Bhakta and Bhagavan, that veil that separates them is removed. So Mira was in that aspect. Of, but Bhagavan was reflecting through Mira. And here her husband had the darshan of Giridhar Gopal. It was Mira and Giridhar. Mira, Giridhar, Mira, Giridhar. Later on, Jiva Goswami also had similar darshan when they didn't allow Mirabai to enter the temple. Then he went. Thakurji was dressed. Then he went and asked for forgiveness to Mirabai, and later when he brought Mirabai in the Swarup Vigraha of the deity he was worshipping, he saw in the place was Mirabai. So the same her husband saw. Thakurji was there. He was full of bliss. So when Mira came back, appeared back to, the vision of Thakur, Giridhariji disappeared and Mirabai was there standing. He fell down at the feet of Mirabai. He didn't even touch the feet, just fall down in front. So a few days later, it was the 1 year of anniversary of their wedding. The whole palace was decorated. Everybody was in great festivities. Mira, at that wake up, she was dressed in full regalia, like a queen. All the jewels and everything was on her. But in her mind, she was dressed for Giridhar Gopal. So they asked her, oh wow, you have dressed so nicely, and knowing that your husband is on a dead bed, you are dressed like that. Mira answered them, said, my husband is eternal. My husband, when he have put the sindoor on my forehead, it is eternal. My husband, the Mangalsutra he have tied in my neck, nobody can take it. It is an eternal Mangalsutra. Because my husband is eternal. So they ask the in-law, the daughter-in-law, the sister-in-law asked, who is your husband? Said, Giridhar Gopal is my husband. And said, why have you married my brother? Do you have come to ruin our family? Why have you done that? I said, well, look, the king can get married 2 times, 3 times, 100 times. Look for somebody else, get them married. Nobody is stopping. I said, your brother is my dear friend. So Mira was absorbed into that bhav and that love. But her life, her Atma have wept in Giridhariji. Nothing else. So she was in that bhav. So one moment she was passing by and was calling for Girdhar Gopal, Girdhar Gopal, Girdhar Gopal. She was walking. She passed the room of her husband, actual husband, not Girdhariji, her husband, which was laying down, nearly dying. So she passed her husband's room, and her husband was looking at her. Why she didn't stop? She was in that bhav. She was into that state, She kept walking. The palace are built on cliff. So she was going into the vastness, falling down into the cliff. So the husband saw her going, because she knows that she's not here, anything can happen. So what to do? She will call the servant. There were nobody there. What to do? Only one thing he can do is to hold her. So as Mira was about to fall, 1 foot was already out on the cliff, he grabbed her from behind, pulled her. So when he pulled her, she came back to her sense. Straight away, he fall down at her feet and implore her forgiveness. He said, look, I have done a great sin today. I have vowed never to touch you, but I had to touch you today, because if I would have not done that, in your bhav, you will have fallen down the cliff. I have to touch you to save your life. So Mirabai looked at him, and when he looked at Mira, he didn't see Mirabai in front of him. He see Girdhar Gopal. So one moment it was Girdhar Gopal, one moment it was Mirabai, one moment it was Girdhar Gopal. So that, when he was touched with that, when he touched Mirabai, he was completely purified. But he could see only Girdhar Gopal. When he closed his eyes, he see only Girdhar Gopal, nothing else. So Mira told him, what you have done is not a mistake, it is right. You have done it because you had to do it in that way. It is the will of Giridharji. So, when he was asking Mira to reveal Giridhar Gopal to him, bless me that I can see Giridhar Gopal, he said one beautiful thing, said, why have I married you? There must be a reason why I have married you. And that is the reason why I have, they have married, so that Thakurji can bring that grace, to him. So that afternoon itself, singing the glory of Mira and Gopal, Girdhar Gopal, Mira Girdhar Gopal, Mira Girdhar Gopal, Mira Girdhar Gopal, he left his body to the eternal abode of Sri Hari. Nothing happened randomly, especially in the life of a devotee. It may appear very random, it may appear very strange things happen, but in your life, in the life of the devotee, nothing is random. Bhagwan have already planned your life, and the Sadguru have come to purify you, so that you perceived that each moment of your life is the grace of what Giridharji, Vitthal want to give to you. And that is what Ma Bhagavati, her life, her 9 days itself, is the preparation to purify you, so that inside of you bhakti can awake. We pray to Ma Bhagavati not for material things, not things that will last only for short time. We pray to Ma Bhagavati so that what nobody can take away from you, that bhakti, that bhav which is inside of you, that can prevail. Everything else people can take away from you. But what you have inside of your heart, that nobody can take away from you. If you are sincere, if you have that love, you have that devotion, no one can take that. Until you become a fool yourself, then that you can lose it. But even that you will not lose it, it will go dormant. So let that 9 days what you have received, let it flourish, let it grow, let it expand. And let your mind always be absorbed into the worship of Sri Hari. Let your mind be always absorbed into that state of surrender to the lotus feet of Giridhari and Vittal. Jai Gurudev.